and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at a double ice team in the Retro Cup. This cup is now available, a cup which does not allow any fairy type, steel type or dark type Pokemon. So naturally something like a dragon type Pokemon like this opponent's Altaria going to be more common, which is going to help out those ice type Pokemon, which is going to be something we're going to take a look at today. We're going to have a team here around the Dewgong Sayswap, the Auroras in the back as a closer with the move Media Beam, and also in the lead something that can deal with those rock types, for example, like this Sudowoodo, but also mainly against something like a Medicham, which is going to be our Deoxys defense. The thing is, for this team, honestly, I didn't actually start that crazy good into it, and then I think I went like on a 7-game win streak with this team, so definitely worked out really well. I actually think it might be even a better win streak, but yeah. Definitely had some struggles in my first set. I think I went 2-3 and then really destroyed everybody with this team, which is really cool to see. Very strong team here to go for. Highly can recommend you this team. If you have those Pokemon, definitely go for it. You can use also other Pokemon if you don't have all of them. For example, if you don't have any or like one of the Pokemon that we have in the backline here, you can also go for Warren instead. Either Shadow or the normal variant are both totally fine, giving you basically the same coverage as the Dewgong here as well, which is going to be totally okay for your team as well. Otherwise, if you don't have the lead of Deoxys, you can also go ahead and go for something like the Medicham, which is going to give you some coverage there. But also something maybe like a Trevenant could work out pretty well for you as well. But yeah, this is going to be it for this team here. We're going to take a look now at the matchups. We're going to have here a very tough matchup up ahead, as they're going to encounter a Shadow Swampert against us. We can try to go for one Psycho Boost here, but the opponent going to get to the move just in time before that here, and they're going to now have to shield this move up here. I have to keep the energy on my Deoxys alive. I'm forced to go for the Psycho Boost, and we're actually going to land this, nearly knocking out the opponent's Swampert. But in comes now the Charizard. They don't know if we have Rock Slide or the Thunderbolt. We're running Thunderbolt, by the way, again, for the Medicham. Okay, you're going to be a way better matchup for the Medicham because you're going to be able to do neutral damage against them, while still going to be able to maintain your stats and not drop you. For example, like the Psycho Boost will drop you. But yeah, sadly, here we're not going to be able to survive a Blast Burn from a Shadow Charizard on our Auroras. So we're going to go down here. But still, we're going to take a look at the next game here. We're going to have a horrific lead again against a Frostess. In comes now the Lantern, and we will be able to at least reach some drill runs here, which is going to do some pretty decent damage against the opponent as well. And honestly, I think we can maybe even force shields here from the opponent, because I'm pretty sure they want to kind of realign their Pokemon as they won the lead fairly hard. I might be able to just go ahead and go for a bait here and bait out a shield, and I will be able to do this. And like this, I'm pretty sure I can either realign my Pokemon, or what I could also do here is just get a shield advantage. Both of them are totally fine. Let's see what the opponent wants me to go for. Thanks to the bait, they are well able to get back a switched advantage against the Lantern with my water type Pokemon Dewgong, which is kind of funny. But yeah, in comes here now, of course, a Pokemon that will destroy our lead here fairly hard with the Frosters. But we can at least now align our Pokemon correctly, which can help us quite a bit. We can still definitely survive one charge move here. Shadow Ball is still going to do some pretty decent damage, but we can go ahead and go for a Weather Ball, trying to spam that here as well and bait out the shield. Baiting out the shield definitely didn't work out that well as expected, sadly, but we're still going to be able to go for another charge move here against the opponent's Venusaur here. Shadow Venusaur, a very spicy pick. We will be able to go for another Weather Ball and try to now knock them out with my good friendly Deoxys, as we can go ahead and go for a Psycho Boost against the incoming Frosters. They are not in a move yet, and like this, we will be able to now get them super low enough that we can farm them down and knock them out. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have here the Deoxys against the Toxicroak. A very good lead for me actually, because I will be able to spam the Psycho Boost against the opponent, and I will always be able to outspeed them. Still, we have to be a little bit careful, because Sludge Bomb going to do a ton of damage against us, so we don't really want to get hit by this, but the opponent makes a great play here by swapping out into the Munchlax, allowing them to catch a move here, and I am forced to swap out into my Dewgong, which is going to be able to at least hit those Icy Winds to debuff the opponent's attack, which is going to make our Pokemon way bulkier, because the opponent just doesn't do enough damage to us. As you can see here, we're going to need still at least another Icicle, not Icicle Spear, another Icy Wind here, which is going to definitely come through, as you can still easily survive the Body Slam coming in from the Munchlax. We can overfarm it quite a bit, and I can go ahead and go for another charge move. I might have been able to actually go for another fast move here as well, which would have been maybe cool, but who knows, if I would have got to another charge move here with the extra energy, We will never find out. As the opponent can go for a Mud Bomb, I'm going to shield this move up, and as I have a Pokemon that's double weak against fighting types in the back, I'm kind of forced to double shield here as well, as the opponent going to swap out into the Walrein. This is going to be a very difficult one to still win here. Let's take a look at this one. We're going to now see the Earthquake coming through. We can still survive that one. We can still go for the Meteor Mash or Meteor Beam here, and this Meteor Beam gonna get shielded by the opponent, but we still have the Thunderbolt. So not all hope is lost yet, as you're going to be able to hit this Thunderbolt against the opponent's Walrein. Let's see how much damage it's going to do. It does a ton of damage, but sadly they still get to move. I can survive one Icicle Spear, but I cannot survive one Earthquake. And the opponent going to win this game here really closely actually, which is at least kind of okay for us. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have here the Victini in the lead, which is not really ideal for this team either, but honestly, Victini is something that you don't really going to encounter too often, but here at least you're going to be able to go for a bait with the Icy Wind here, as is going to be able to now get the attack drop from the opponent. And comes now the next opponent's Pokemon here, going to also get the attack drop with the Bomber Snow. And I kind of want to keep around my Dewgong here, so I'm going to use my shield to shield up the energy ball from the opponent. Now I try to swap out as fast as I can, and I can swap out into my Deoxys. And as you're going to see here right now, this does basically no damage, especially after the debuff. Okay, Energy Ball still does a little bit more damage than I expected them to do, but still, that's going to be fine, as you can now go ahead and try to go for a charge move against the opponent here, but I don't have the Rock Slide. But the opponent doesn't know, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for one Thunderbolt, but they're going to swap out into the Credilli. Now this move is resisted, and now also my fast moves are like, yeah, I'm gonna get fast move down here basically, but I'm still going to be able to go for another Icy Wind, which is going to be super effective as well. I can catch the move from the Credilli onto my Auroras here, which is going to be fairly decent. And I will be able to now farm them all the way down. Going to be able to get to the Meteor Beam against the Victini. Do they let this move go through here or not? We will find out. They do not. But what we can do here now is we can go for the Weather Ball after that, and it should be kind of fine, but no, they're going to knock me out with a Recreate. But with the Recreate, we're going to easily be able to knock them out with just one more charge move from our Dewgong, which will be fairly decent for us, as this is going to be a game. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have a Marowak in the lead. A Shadow Shiny Marowak, as far as I can see that here. But in comes now the Castform. Castform has access to the move Hex, as well as the Weather Ball Rock, as well as the Weather Ball Normal, as well as the Energy Ball. All of those three could be possible on this moveset here. We definitely all know already that they're going to have the Rock variant of the Weather Ball. I could see them running double Weather Ball on this Pokemon, to be fair, because also it's kind of an interesting pick anyway. The Castform was a very decent Pokemon in this meta right now. Definitely still gets another move here because of the very decent bulk this Pokemon can have. But as you're going to see here, we will be able to farm them down. And also, we're going to see now the opponent coming in to their Marowak again. I can go ahead and go for the bait here real quick, because I want to get some damage onto them, so they know that they're going to have to shield this move up. And we're now going to have a debuff onto the opponent again, so they don't break everything apart here. As you're going to see the Bone Clap coming through, we will be able to now go back into our Auroras, and this will be a very decent matchup for us, but we still maybe have to bait here. Let's see what the opponent going to do. They're going to swap out into their Lickitung, allowing us to go into our Deoxys. And of course, Deoxys is going to be able to now counter the opponent here with the fast move counter, but still Lick from the opponent's side here going to do some pretty decent damage against as well. Especially here is, of course, the HP stat of the Deoxys is fairly low, so Lick does some more damage here. 1-turn fast moves against Deoxys is always kinda deadly. But yeah, otherwise, I always get the question why my Deoxys has like so horrific IVs. As you see there on the side, it's like 15, 10, 10. Basically, back in the day when this Pokemon first came out, it was only really available in EX rates. Like EX rates was like really something, I don't know, like was something that is nowadays kind of similar to those elite rates. But yeah, you were only able to do them in person with like, no, actually, yeah, you only were able to do them in person. There were no remote rates back in the day. But you also only, like, you really had to rely on other people to help you as well, especially with Deoxys, because you need a lot of people. And only like I was able to do like 2 or 3 in my city while there was still an active community here, because nobody really cared about this Pokemon. And so I only really had 2 or 3, and then Go Battle League started, and I was like, okay, I'm going to have to build one of them. and I was only really then having this one here left, which, yeah, it is how it is. I wish they had a better one. I still could build some better ones as well, but the last time Deoxys defense wasn't right, I didn't get a good one either for the Great League, so it's a little bit tricky. But yeah, here we're going to now encounter the Jerison against us as well. The Thunderbolt going to do a ton of damage, so we can go ahead and basically do a ton of damage as well. With the Psycho Boost going to swap out into the Dewgong here, and we're going to see the opponent going to forfeit this game, as they have a ton of energy, but they knew this game was over. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have a very decent lead for us, as the Medicham is going to approach us here, and in comes now the Driftblood, which we can now counter with our good friend Dewgong. We could have also went ahead and went to our other Pokemon here in the Auroras, but I feel like with Dewgong, the cool thing is here, you're definitely going to be able to get a realignment. And the cool thing as well is that you're going to be able to go ahead and go for the debuff against the opponent's Pokemon that's coming in. And most likely it's going to be the Medicham, I would guess. But in general, it just helps you out quite a bit for the secondary matchup afterwards. So here you can see here as well that this move is going to get the attack drop onto the opponent. We can go back into our Deoxys, and in comes a Shadow Charizard. But we can go ahead and go for a charge move first, which is going to get the shield from the opponent, which is really good for us. We now have basically, I think it shield is completely as well. Yeah, no, it's actually not a shieldless Charizard. They still have one shield left. But we're still going to have a shield advantage, which is really important for us. And as you're going to get completely blast burned down here, it doesn't really matter, as at this moment of time, the fast move of the Deoxys is going to be enough to just knock out the opponent most likely there. But in comes now, so the Medicham, one Thunderbolt should be kind of fair enough to knock out the opponent. So let's take a look at this one. You're going to see now the Thunderbolt going to get shielded here. Going to be a little tricky, so I'm going to rather go for the Psycho Boost. And this is going to be a stab move, and this is going to do a ton of damage to put them into range where I can just farm them all the way down. Don't risk anything, shield up the final move coming through from the opponent, and just win the game. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to have here the Deoxys against a Lickitung. Again, a matchup that I don't really like too much. What we can try to do here is at least go for one Psycho Boost and then see what the opponent wants to do in general. At this point of time, I'm actually going to just let the opponent go for the charge move first and then go for the Psycho Boost so I can debuff myself afterwards. And now I can also swap out into my Dewgong, which will be able to do some pretty decent damage against the opponent, but also going to be able to just force the opponent to shield up something as well eventually. But here we can see we can go for the Icy Wind. They might actually let this move go through as well, and they do. So we're basically one shield down. The opponent has a Charizard and yeah, currently outside there as well against me, which is not really ideal. But the Icy Wind at least going to be able to get the debuff onto the opponent, which is quite a decent task in general. So here we're going to see the Blast Burn coming through, going to do some pretty decent damage against the against the Dewgong, of course, going to knock it out. But you can at least go ahead and go into the Deoxys, and as the opponent going straight for the charge move, I know it's not going to be the Blast Burn, so we can just go ahead and go for the Psycho Boost, which is going to get the Fire Shield by the opponent. In comes now a Trigalgy against our Auroras, and our Auroras is going to have a great time sweeping endgame here. I don't think there's anything like the opponent can do here in still order to win this game. Going to be able to go for the Awkward here. I can farm them all the way down. As you're going to see right now, the Charizard is coming in. The Charizard actually going to get the CMP tie here, so it's going to be a little bit of a dicier one. But we can still survive that one as well. We can go for our charge move here. It's going to be the Weather Ball, going to knock out the opponent there, and we're going to get out the Lickitung again, where I completely forgot that it only had basically like 5 HP left. And at this point of time, this game is over. Let's take a look at the next game here. We're going to have the opponent having the Lantern in the lead. This is going to be an interesting one, as we can go ahead and stay in here because our backliners are really struggling with Lantern. So we can go ahead and go for one Thunderbolt in our with our Deoxys here. As the opponent going to go for their own Surf, actually. They're not even going to go for the Thunderbolt, allowing me to go for the Psycho Boost here next, which is going to be very decent for me. And this Psycho Boost is going to do a ton of damage. You're going to put them into a range where I can just farm them down with the Dewgong and win this matchup here. In comes now a Dunsparce, which is going to be totally okay for us as well. Dunsparce is going to do only really damage against something like Ice and Flying type Pokemon, which is going to be kind of here as well, most likely, as well as like something like Steel, which is not going to be here because it's going to be forbidden. But as you're going to see here right now, Dunsparce is going to have a great job against us. As the Rock Slide is coming through here, it's going to have to take another charge move though here from the Dewgong with the Icy Wind. We're going to get the attack drop onto the opponent's Dunsparce here as well, as you can now let this next move go through. It's going to be the Rock Slide, you can still survive it thanks to the debuffs, and the Icy Wind is going to finish up the rest for this one here as well. As they're going to now shield this move up as well, and we're going to see the Pidgeot coming in. And while, yeah, Patriot is something that is kind of interesting though, but we can just go ahead and go straight into our good friend, the Auroras. Now Aurora is going to have a great time here as well, as you're going to see the weather ball coming through, going to knock out the opponent, and the dance boss has not a lot of place to go, as this is going to be able to knock out the opponent. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm a little bit sleepy, I'm sorry if this bothered you, but I'm literally just coming back from vacation. So that's it for this today, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.